Hey, welcome back. I thought I would take a few minutes and give you guys a shop tour. This is where I do all my woodworking and stuff around the homestead, a little bit of gunsmithing, other repair work. So this is the view from just inside, and I mean I'm standing right up against the screen door to the man door when you walk in, the front man door. And then over here, of course, you've got my roll up, and that's a killer view right there. And I built that screen. It's modular, so I can remove it if I wanted to load some big stuff in. Air compressor. Then you got the wood stove and the tools there, and the dog's water bowl. And that goes on up, and you're coming around here, and you see my little chump change $50 bandsaw. It's a Craftsman. I bought it it's an antique shop, but they sell other stuff too. These are a couple cabinets I made years ago, and I just modified them to hold the drill press, or excuse me, the bandsaw. And that's a 10-inch bandsaw. And believe me, it's not great, but it does do some cool cuts for some of the things I want. And then there's my Craftsman scratch and dent 12-inch compound sliding miter saw, which I have used to death. I've had it for about 15, 20 years. And one of my boneyards, this one's the indoor boneyard, got various and sundry pieces of things in here: cherry, walnut, fair amount of oak, pine, poplar, and some cutoffs that I always seem to find a use for at some point. Over here's my clamp wall and various and sundry other tools. I'm really proud of this. We just built this, and I really like it. There's a guy, I don't remember his name, but he showed how to build this framework for these clamps, and it's real simple how to build them. And so I did the same thing and just hung them up, and then went crazy. My wife and I put up all my levels. I did have a rolling clamp rack, which was really cool, but it took up a lot of space. So we built this, got all this situated, and then I had this in there for miscellaneous different types of saws that are used for various things. And then we put the saw blades here for my table saw and my skill saw and chop saw. And then I had these things laying around, these hooks laying around for years, and we just put all of our extension cords on there because I've got a dedicated circuit there. And then if we spin back around, don't get dizzy, starting back over here, I got my table saw, which is a Delta, and I don't remember the model, but I've had it about 4 or 5 years. It's like a 725 something T2. It's been out for a while. I really like it. I had a very old Craftsman Model 113 before that, and I had it for about 20 years, and the fence just went belly up on it, and I didn't feel like spending several $100s and trying to figure out how to do a new fence for it. So I mean, it was so old I went out and bought a new one. And it's got some cool gadgets on it. It's very accurate. It's dead on. The tape was already installed when I got on there. And depending on the blade that you put on there, it's either going to be 1/32 off, or it's going to be dead on. And since I know that, no big deal. And there's my outfeed table. We also use it as a bench when we're watching TV sometimes out here in the evenings or afternoons. And we got a couple of chairs there. It's a 4x8 outfeed table. I also use it for assembly. Swing back over here is my jointer. I've had this for 20 plus years. It's a Grizzly 6-inch jointer, and I don't use it a lot, but it really does a job when I need it. And I don't do monster huge pieces, so it gets the job done. Coming back over here, there's some scrap bin, and then just basically wood chips from planes and things like that. My workbench, the workbench is 72 by 28, I think it is, and it's built I built it off the Paul Sellers type of idea. And then I had some crummy legs on it, and I replaced the legs on it. Got a couple of holdfasts in there. Went more with what he had going on. This is a Yost vise that I got. Put some hardwood here, and it does a great job. I've got another video that I posted into last year that shows my tool cabinet, and I built this to house all of my almost all of my hand tools. And I've got if you want to look on the channel, you'll see where I go through some of this. I'm gonna do another video and show you what I use and what I don't use. I actually use most of this, believe it or not. At some point in time, I don't use a lot of it regularly, but I do use most of it. There's my mini split. Put that in last year, and it's been a game changer for the summertime. My security safe. So I've got things in there, and so I can do gunsmithing right here as well. Coming around here, these are just some cabinets. These cabinets were already here, and I just have all kinds of miscellaneous parts and tools. And then I've got hand tools like a skill saw. Got a couple of skill saws in there. I got sander, a couple sanders in there, and router, and a few other things in there. Just a reciprocating saw, a bunch of stuff, sharpening stuff over there in the corner. Of course, there's the old obligatory shop vac. It does a great job. And then I just got some miscellaneous hardware parts that I've collected and not used a whole lot over the years. And then I've got screws, nuts, bolts of all various and sundry types. There's a shooting board right there. It's a 90-degree shooting board. I've made it myself earlier this year, and believe it or not, when you're cutting with a handsaw, I'm not super accurate, and that shooting board really trues up a straight edge. Now, coming back over here, there's my drill press. I've had this for 25 years, almost. It's a Delta 12-inch, and some miscellaneous things under there. I got a lot more that goes with that. Back there in the corner, which you may not know, there you go, right there. You can see it. That is what I use to sharpen my handsaws with. So I picked that up at an antique store, and that does a really good job. I just clamp it in the vise. That's why it's screwed down to a 2x4. So I can just clamp it in the vise, in my woodworking vise, and can go to town on that. And here's my rear door leading out to my lean-to. And this has been a real blessing because the shop is only about 516 square feet. And then I got a 22 by 14 lean-to out there. I'm not going to go all the way out there right now. We'll do that another time when I give you an outside tour. And then our dehydrator, that lives out here. TV, shooting box that I built. I built this little box right here out of scrap, basically, and it holds my thermometer for my smoker, and I can put up to 4 thermometers in at once. Coffee pot, another little cabinet I built, a couple of freezers, and a fridge on the other side there. You can see that fridge. And this is basically the gist of the shop, just to give you an idea of what I have going on out here. Okay, so that's the shop tour, and I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe it'll give you some ideas on some of the things that you might want to do around your homestead or your place. And if you're into things, I would start collecting some of this stuff now. I've been collecting it for, I've been doing it for 20 some years, before we moved out here. So I would recommend that you not throw a lot of that stuff away unless you absolutely have to, and try to hang on to it. We live in a disposable society, basically, but some of this stuff can really last a long time. So I hope it was inspiring for you to do something that you might want to do. And until next time, thanks for visiting Variety Homestead.